Hi everybody, welcome back to the swamp. My name's Nicholas. Today is a very rainy day, but I'm just gonna push through and do stuff in the rain. I just have to. I just have to do what I have to do. But today we are going to plant some plants that I started in my greenhouse. It was the very first thing that I started this year, and it's the Lisianthus plants. I have 4 different types, so I have 4. Do I have 4? I have 4 different trays of Lisianthus. When we get to the area that we're going to plant up, I'll tell you all the kinds we have. And then in that same area, I got this, I think it's a juniper, to try to see if maybe we can cover the electric box whenever it grows to its full size. But let me just start by showing you the swamp that we're in right now, and then I'll show you the things we're planting, and then I'll show you the area we're going to plant them in. This is the entrance to my greenhouse. It's a familiar sight to me in the spring. It is flooded like this usually for, I don't know, on and off for a couple months in the spring. And then, but I will say the gravel actually has helped a bit. I mean, it's not going to help with everything because there is still some standing water on the gravel, but it does help. And at least in this area, I'm not like trudging through the mud. And the last time I showed this flood, everyone was giving me options and then their opinions on what I should do and this and that. So the main thing I know that we could do is like a French drain, but the issue is where that drain would lead to. So I'm at the like literal back of my property right now, and the place that it would need to go is literally the front of my property. So like an acre, just under an acre and a half. And that's just a cost that I just can't like foresee doing right now. So, I mean, you can plant stuff that'll suck up water, but I'd have to be planting a lot of things to suck up the water. So there are options in the future. It's just not anything that's going to be happening now. So what we're going to do to combat this in the future is I created this gravel area, and then a lot of this wet area is actually going to be flower bed, so it's going to be raised up a little bit, just like the did I say concrete? Gravel area. So they're both going to be raised up, so all of the surrounding area around the greenhouse is going to be a little bit higher, and hopefully that does help a little bit. So it's just honestly the rainy spring months, and then after that it's perfectly fine. And it's never actually gone in my greenhouse, luckily, and I'll show you why. When we built my greenhouse, we put like a gravel, I don't know, it was like gravel and sand and all of that stuff, and it kind of raised the greenhouse up. And I actually didn't really like it at first because there is a step into my greenhouse, and this was and possibly will be in the future brick again because I like the look of it better than gravel. But there's always been a step up into the greenhouse, but that step is a lifesaver. If it wasn't for that step, the greenhouse would be flooded on on the regular. So I am happy that I have that at least. So anyway, let's grab the plants and go to the area that we're going to deck out. Okay, these are what we're working with today. I don't think I'm going to be planting all of these just because there's a lot here, and I want to save some for containers and whatnot, but I do want to put quite a number of them in the ground. So I guess I'll just start with the Lisianthus. The ones to my right, your left, these are the Roseanne 2 Terracotta. These are the only ones that I got in the Roseanne series, and that color I just think is a really pretty color. And all of these Lisianthus get between 24 and 36 inches tall, and then when you plant them like between 4 and 8 inches. So I'll probably, I don't know, I'm going to work them in, so I don't know how well I'll go by those guidelines, because that's a lot. You would do that like for like row crops and stuff, but anyway, just to let you know, they can be pretty close together, I guess is what I'm trying to say. The next one, and to let all of you know, the Lisianthus, like I said, was the first seed I started in my greenhouse this year, and they were started on January 11th. So, and it's the beginning of May, so 4 months. The next one that I have is Voyage 2 Light Apricot, which is the one that I'm most excited about. Yeah, I just think I like the color more than any of the other ones, but obviously I like them all because I purchased the seeds, but these are my favorite. The next one, which is the one that I had the worst germination on, but there's still plenty. This is the Voyage 2 Pink Improved. And this one is really pretty, just like a very pretty pink. And you all know that I love pink in the garden. So yeah. And then the one I think that has done the best, at least with germination and with growth, is the Voyage 2 First Love. I've always heard great things about that one, and obviously it does well germinating and growing. Now let me tell you though, this is my very first year ever starting Lisianthus from seed. Actually, I've never even grown a Lisianthus. I've never bought one or anything, but I had always heard that they germinated really slow and they were going to be really small when I went to put them in the ground. So yes, they did germinate slow and they grew slow. I would say for the first, for sure, 2 months, they just looked like little tiny specks. And then after that, they have grown significantly, and they're way bigger than I thought they were going to be when it came time to plant them out. So I'm very happy about these. Now that I've gone on at length about the Lisianthus, let me tell you about this plant. So this is a gold cone juniper. Got it at Menards, and it gets 3 to 5 feet tall. I'm hoping 5 or more, and only 1 to 2 feet wide. And that's the thing that's important for today, because the area that I'm putting it in is really small. I'll show you in a second. And then it wants 6 hours or more of direct light, so it's full sun, and then hardy to -30, which it says zones 4 through 7. And I think it's really beautiful. It has like a really pretty golden greenish color. Sometimes I feel like the things that are labeled gold can look almost wrong, like burnt, or like it's not healthy, or like iron deficient, but this does not look like that. This is beautiful, and it's fluffy, like really fluffy. I like it. So let me grab the camera and show you guys where we're going to be planting all this stuff today. So I took a big step back so I can show you guys where we're planting. So I would like to work a lot of the Lisianthus into this bed right here. I think that that would look really pretty. And I do plan on putting some geraniums in here that I grew from seed, but I just need the nighttime temps to get a tiny bit warmer. You guys might remember that I planted a bunch of pansies and violas this spring. So my goal is to try to work some Lisianthus in here, but more importantly, the juniper that stays really skinny, I think I actually want to replace this delphinium with it. So this delphinium does get pretty tall, and it does a decent job covering the electric doodads, but it just isn't here all the time. So I just need to get something that's gonna be around for a while. So I was thinking maybe we could move the delphinium over to this corner, because I had a penstemon that obviously is not coming back. So I think that would be nice there. And then if I have time, I really probably need to move this hosta, because it's just getting a little bit crowded here. And I put a candy tuft there, not remembering that the hosta was there. So I think that the hosta, it does fine here in the sun, but I could always put it in the secret garden. And then this mum in the front, this perennial mum, does well here. It's like a very burgundy red, which I know, you guys, but it's like burgundy, so I feel like it's different. But it does well, so I guess in the grand scheme of things, I probably would like to move that too, just because it's a little tall for the edge of the bed. But this, there is a mum here as well, but it gets shaded by this hydrangea tree, which is a phantom, I believe. It's so pretty. I can't wait for you guys to see it this year. But I would really like to pull, well, not pull, but dig up this mum and move it somewhere else that I just think it's going to do better with more sun. What I'm going to do is dig the hole where the penstemon was, so that as soon as I take out that delphinium, it can go right into the hole. Now, luckily, everything is sopping wet today, so I don't have to worry about roots drying out or anything. And then potentially I should take out the other two plants, the hosta and the mum, before I fill it up with Lisianthus. So I'm just gonna have to get into this, get it going, and hopefully it doesn't rain on me too much. I'm so sorry, I forgot to tell you my tools. I have gloves as usual, because I've been trying to do better about wearing them. I have my auger with two different attachments. This is the 5-inch for the juniper, and then I'll be using the 3-inch for all of the Lisianthus plugs. I could use the 2-inch as well, but I already had the 3-inch near me. A bag of biotone. These little pinchers are so that I can pull the Lisianthus out of their cell packs, because the plastic is very hard, which is a good thing. I also have my shovel, and then I have just like a tub trug thing to move around the plants that I pull out. And then I have this bag of organic, like raised bed soil from Miracle Grow. To be honest, I don't usually use Miracle Grow, or at least it's not my first choice, but I used some of this stuff in my raised beds, and it smells very organic. Like, it smells, I don't know how else to say that. So I'm gonna use it and see what I think of it. So far, it's been fine. But the reason I have it, I'll show you. This area back here, I'm not sure why, but it's very heavily mulched. And anytime I go to plant something in here, I don't think it does very well, because I just think there's no soil. So I'm actually going to, when I dig a hole for the juniper, I'm going to try to put a bunch of that soil in its place. So now I'm going to get to work. Oh wow, that's finished. And like usual, it took way longer than I thought and it was more difficult, but it looks really good. So let me just give you a little tour and then we're just gonna haul off on these Lisianthus because it'll be easy. This was the hard part. The Lisianthus is, I'm just using my auger, zipping a bunch of holes and putting some biotone in and then putting the plant in. It should go really quick. But this part, that was tough. Okay, so the Delphinium is now right there. And I think it'll actually look cool because, like, I want to say it gets like this tall usually. So like to be able to see that inside when you look out, I think would be nice. And then I took the hosta out. I have not found a spot for it yet, but I will. I did think that I wanted to put it next to this in this empty space, but I realized I couldn't dig a hole big enough to accommodate the root ball. So I think I'm going to get some smaller shade plants and put them there, just because when it's back in that corner, it doesn't get like a tremendous amount of sun. And then I took the perennial mum out, and then that also created a little hole. So I actually don't know. I'm thinking maybe I might try to put some Lisianthus in this bed, just in some of these open spots. I think that would be nice, just worked in. But the majority of them are going in this bed. And I wanted to show you guys something. So this pretty Betsy Jupiter's beard, it's about to bloom. And I started this from seed last year. How pretty is that? And then I finally remembered what this was called. So I showed this in a video recently and I couldn't remember what it was called. I believe this is the Twizzle Coral Penstemon. So I'm very happy, or very excited to see what this is going to look like. Well, it looks like the clouds are back, so we might get some rain, but we need to get this done. So here we go. I made 58 holes, so I'm just going to pull out 58 of these and we'll see how we feel after that. To use these is very simple. They perfectly fit a 2-inch cell, but you could, I mean, I've used it on more too. Like you can spread it out and pick up something that's in a bigger cell. You just probably wouldn't be able to do a smaller cell just because it wouldn't fit. But these are from Gardener's Supply, but I did find some on Amazon, just saying. So all you do is you just have to make sure you pull the foliage out of the way and then you push it down and then you squeeze and then the whole thing comes out. I'm going to do one type at a time just so that I can make sure that I'm at least dispersing them correctly and not having big clumps of one type in an area. So let me see if I can get you a real close up on how to use this. It started raining. Like raining. But I'm not gonna stop. We're gonna keep going. It ended up being 64 plants that I put in the ground because math is hard. So I just got it wrong. But I used 3 different kinds. I ended up not using the terracotta just because I want to use it obviously, but I just don't think mixed in this bed it would have looked right just because of the colors. That's all. So I'll probably use it a lot in containers and then somewhere else. I don't know where, but there's plenty of places I can use them. So I still have all my stuff spread everywhere, so just don't look at all of that. But I ended up just putting little pockets of them. So there's a grouping right here, another one right there in that empty space. I did quite a bit at this walkway. There's some to the left there, and then an even bigger one to the right. And then this one, it kind of goes like, it fills up this whole space and then it curves around and then comes over here. And then I continued a little bit more over here. And then I left a big gap right here from there until here, just because I thought maybe I could do some like geraniums or whatever, something, I don't know. And then I did a little bit here and here. And then I just put a few here and then a really large amount. It goes from here around all the way back there. So just picture it, how pretty that's going to be. I ended up not putting them in this bed just because I thought that the geraniums would do better in this bed. So yeah, I feel accomplished, but I feel muddy. All of my equipment and stuff is muddy, like all of the, like my tripod and then like my handheld thingy, my bobber. It's all dirty just because it was so wet, but it's okay. I got it done, and I guess that's what matters. But that's gonna be it for today. I feel like putting the juniper there was a good idea, but I think that I'm like gonna have to play the long game with it because the delphinium occasionally covered the electric box and stuff, but the juniper's not going to do that for years. So I'm just going to have to be patient and deal with it. But I've always done a really good job of looking past it, so I kind of was doing it for you guys. Just kidding. Everything's for me, only for me. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. If you didn't, I hope you just enjoyed watching and seeing me get wet and dirty. So I will see you guys very soon. Keep learning and keep growing.